Have you noticed that it's almost like people that are very religious but have not experienced God are usually the most resentful people and are constantly trying to convince other people why they are right and why their version is correct and why everyone else is wrong. And you see this a lot in sort of da'wah groups. You see this with Christians. You see this with a lot of different people. Is that they're constantly, and even with atheists, as they're constantly obsessed with trying to prove to others that my way is the only way, that Islam is the only way, Christianity is the only way, or say atheists. But it's all because they've never truly experienced God. When you have that moment of, as the Sufis they call it, fana, or an ego death, that's sort of in the realm of psychedelics, you experience that all of these religions were kind of pointing to the same thing. They were pointing to the same thing, that we are essentially not, where God is sort of this thing that is up there, this idol that is looking down on us and judging us and hating us. But God is everywhere. There is no thing that is that where God does not exist. And when you haven't experienced that, I understand the fear. I understand that you constantly have this underlying angst and anxiety that you're like, what if he's not real? And so you spend, and people spend a lot of their times debating people, judging people on my version is correct, but the truth is they're trying to convince themselves, man. I tell you this, they are trying to convince themselves. They are trying to convince themselves because they have never fully, when you experience that moment of ego death and God speaks to you, there is no doubt in your mind. You do not need proof at that point. This comes from someone that used to, there was a point in my life where I was an atheist, right? Because of the trauma that I experienced, and essentially the heartbreak. In terms of my heartbreak, in terms of I was like, "What, God, why didn't you help me? Why weren't you there in certain situations?" And that's the same with atheists. People trying to debate atheists, trying to debate Muslims, and you have to understand, everybody at the depth of the core is extremely scared that what if what they believe is not true. And that's why I believe your relationship with the infinite, with infinite love, infinite mercy, infinite, the source, the divine, the universe, whatever you name it. And I do know people get triggered when I say the word universe, and I do that on purpose, because you essentially realizing that God is not this idol somewhere up there, but wherever you turn, there is the face of Allah. There is the face of Allah. And until you come to that realization, you will always have this, I believe, angst. What if God is there? What if God is not?